Hello Capricorn, this is a timeless reading for you. I'm using my own cards, my medieval oracle deck. In the middle of your spread we have the rainbow surrounded by the fairy, the horse, poison and the maiden, the mermaid. With this rainbow card, mostly I see it as a spiritual card representing the third eye, representing, the several colors of the chakra, of our main chakras, and, just the white light of the source being broken through this kind of prism into several colors. And you know the whole stuff about the rainbow, water, sunlight. And this is mainly how I perceive this card and how I created it, also representing peace and harmony. And that's when it's getting warmer, because I feel like in your reading it doesn't appear so strongly as this spiritual card. It could be for a few that you are thinking about some kind of a certain type of spirituality at the moment, and you might start to doubt it. But for others, it could just be about false peace, like for example, in a friend circle or family, when everyone is acting kind, but you feel some tension and agitation, and you can just sense that not everyone is speaking their true mind or their true emotions. And if they would, then nothing would be as peaceful as it is. It could be that it requires at the moment in your family or friend circle a lot of work and discipline to create this kind of peace, and you might realize or have already realized that this is quite toxic and unreal and very hard to maintain. And it's like some kind of toxic positivity. It feels enforced. And we just have the poison card next to it, and I don't always see it literally as something toxic, something dangerous, but in your reading it does represent that. And it's very strongly connected to the rainbow. So it could just be that at the moment you either might be doubting a certain kind of spirituality, or, this hyper positive false peace spirituality. Or, it's just, as I said, something in your family, something in your friend circle, even something at work, this false kind of being nice when it's not coming from the heart. It's just enforced. And it could be that you might not be able to stand it at the moment. In the unconscious position, we have the fairy. I already pulled her in the previous reading, and I'm seeing her in your reading as an ambivalent character right now. The fairy is actually kind-hearted. She's gentle. She's like a fawn. She's in some way innocent, but she can be a little bit irreliable, fluctual. She is switching between several dimensions. She's disappearing from, she's not very grounded sometimes. She's airy. She is, she just slips away suddenly. You cannot always rely on her, because she's too subtle to be grounded somehow. She's not always with her 2 feet on the ground. And when she's being irresponsible and irreliable, it's not necessarily because, she has bad intentions or she's doing that on purpose. It's just like she just can't stand being grounded and being on earth, and then she just slips out, fades away. I'm also getting her like someone who can easily be hurt because she is so sensitive and she perceives a lot of things that others don't see. She can detect other people's intentions and emotions very quickly. And when she detects something bad, something heavy, I mean not heavy in that sense that when someone around her is sad or something like that. I mean heavy or bad in an evil way, where like when she senses bad intentions in someone else, she quickly runs away. This could be someone in your family or friend circle who actually is kind and they want to help, but they don't have the strength to always help. It could also be someone who is very easily drawn into this false niceness, into this false harmony and peace. But when they realize that they fell for this trap, for this, it can be very seductive also in some cults that appear very friendly and spiritual in the first moment, but then you realize, no, it's a cult. It could be someone who falls prey for these things quickly, but they also realize quickly what is wrong. It could be it could be you as well, or just someone in your family who has disappeared, hiding somehow from the family because they are too sensitive to deal with all this poison. You will know who that is. Then we have the horse here. The horse often represents, in my deck, friend, a very good friend, someone who's very loyal, because we nowadays say that the dog is the best friend of the human being, but I think in the Middle Ages maybe it was the horse. The horse in the Middle Ages was also some kind of replacement for what we now have, like cars, bicycles, motorcycles, all of it. So they didn't have that back then, so they had horses. But I'm feeling a very personal energy from this horse, so only for a few of you it appears as something to doing with a vehicle, but for most of you I feel like the horse, you might question your loyalty towards someone. You might question your loyalty towards this fairy. Even though she doesn't have bad intentions, you might be annoyed with her that she's irreliable, and you were very loyal and reliable, and you regret that you got stuck on this person for a long time. It could just be that you were very loyal to a certain group, like your family or friend circle, and didn't get that back in years. It could also be that you will find, or you have a friend who is very reliable and very grounded, because the horse gives me this very grounded feeling. They have skinny legs compared to their torso, and but they have strong legs. They have endurance. They are muscular and, very connected to the earth in some way. And I feel like there could be a person around you who might help you to go through this, who might pull you down, who might make you feel grounded again. I mean, for a few of you, it could even be that you were of course, the fairy can also represent a man in your life. If you had a romantic partnership with such a person, that you have someone around you who will help you get through this, who will pull you back to the ground, because maybe this person has affected you a little bit, and you also, you know, took off the ground a little bit too much and lost your own foundation in some way, or connection to the earth. And there is just someone who is pulling you back down. Someone who is very strong. It could also be that you are represented by this horse, and you are helping someone who has been through a situation with a fairy person, or you might even help the fairy to become more grounded. At the top, in the position, what's your realization or the outcome of the situation, we have the mermaid, and I'm getting two vibes from this card. Like there is something negative, like something feels unattainable, like it's like a Sisyphus work. Something is, you know, it's just, no matter how hard you try, it just is not, it can't be achieved. Like there is a little bit of this despair in this situation. It could also mean something else, because I'm also getting from the mermaid something like, you know, she's holding this jewel in her hand, and she has some kind of treasure for you, but she doesn't give it to you. She's showing it to you, like, but telling you like, no, you have to go a little bit further to get to this jewel, because I want you to fulfill certain tasks. And I don't mean that in an evil way, like in this evil seductive manner. I mean that in a spiritual way. I mean, this could even be someone who is calling like a spiritual force on the right path. After you've been through the situation, like there could be some kind of spiritual jewel waiting for you, some huge realization, but you have to go a few steps further away from the situation. Like she's a little bit distant, and the jewel is a little bit distant. It's not very distant, it's just a bit. And she's looking at you, inviting you like, come, I have this treasure for you. I'm openly showing it to you, but you have to walk towards me. At the bottom of the deck, we have the sword, and you know, I painted it in this Excalibur style, and it doesn't always come up in this sense, but it does in your reading, like connected to destiny, connected to individuality, like something that is only meant for you, and only you can pull out this sword. So we get back in the beginning. I said I don't have this super spiritual vibe that I'm, you know, getting from this card here. The rainbow card usually is super spiritual, but in your reading it came up just slightly spiritual. But by the end of the reading, I'm seeing that it turns very spiritual, everything for you. Especially with this Excalibur and the mermaid, like she could be luring you towards some kind of your destiny that you might not be able to see yet, because you're still busy and disappointed with this situation here. But don't worry, it's not a huge or terrible disappointment or utter sadness and despair. It's just a little bit of this empty feeling, not being content, being annoyed a little bit as well. But it doesn't feel like this over burdening pain. And she wants you to move away from this after seeing through this situation, to follow this path that she has already prepared for you. You just, you know, everything feels very open, and like there are not a lot of hindrances anymore. You just have to go towards her and pick up that plan that she has for you, that is already ready to be picked up. So I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you for watching.